Hello and welcome to In the Huddle. I'm your host, JT Thomas, broadcasting live from the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the CBs in the house tonight with us. We have Travis Dillard. How you doing, Travis? No, Dilly. Travis Dilly and Ben Willard. How you doing, Ben?
Good.
And we got my good friend Pat White in the house tonight. We're going to talk about high school football in the area and a little bit of WBU. Let's jump right into it, guys. Guys, last Friday night, you guys played Tiger Valley. Talk about that game a little bit. How did it start off?
Well, the game started off kind of bad because we didn't stop a kickoff return, but then eventually toward halftime we started picking up a little bit.
Okay, who scored first? Were you guys scoring first? Did you guys score first?
Tiger Valley scored first.
Tiger Valley scored. Now, is Tiger Valley a team that you guys see often? Are they a rival team? Tell me a little bit about when you guys pair up for Tiger Valley.
We just picked them up not too long ago. I think 2 years ago.
Okay. Now, they're a team are they dominant in the region? I don't know much about high school football in the area. Is Tiger Valley? I know they're the single A school. You guys are single A school. Are they competitive when you guys play them?
Yeah, they're a pretty good team.
Right. Now, you guys started the game. I think the score was 39-20.
Yeah.
Something along those lines, right? 39-20, which means there was a lot of offense in the game. Yeah. Talk about preparing for that team that week. When you guys prepared for that team, what was the game plan going in? Or did you guys run more? Did you pass more?
We ran more.
Okay. And you being a running back, that wasn't a problem for you, was it?
No. 3 rushing touchdowns.
Okay, how many touchdowns did you have? 3 touchdowns in one game. That's big time. No matter where you play, when you're scoring 3 touchdowns in the game, that tells me one or two things. He has a decent offensive line, or you just a powerhouse, And I'm sure it's a combination of both. Would you say that?
It's not just me. I work with a line.
Okay, it's the offensive line. Okay.
You need help from me, too.
Talk about that. Both of us played high school football. They just came off a game Friday night, scored 39-20. Had to be a decent game. What do you think about high schoolers and being able to get out there and perform on a Friday night?
I think Travis owes Ben and the rest of the offensive linemen a lunch or a dinner or something, right? For those 3 touchdowns he scored. It's a fun atmosphere. I think it's one of the purest forms of the sport of football there is. I wouldn't trade a second of my high school career with my former teammates. So enjoy each week, prepare for each opponent like they're the best team in the state, right? Like they're the New England Patriots, and everything will take care of itself, right? Prepare and treat them give them the respect they deserve, and it'll show on your play or on the field.
Now, guys, tell me what class you guys are in school right now. You juniors, sophomores,
We're seniors.
Seniors. Okay, so you've been with the program. Have you always been at the school?
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 years, all right? So this year we started off the show with Clay-Battelle, and we talked about how you guys went out of your way to help a neighboring high school when they had a flood. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit, and I'll share with the fans who are here. There was a town or a city that got flooded out, and you guys allowed their high school team to practice at your facility. Is that correct?
Yeah, 100
Talk about that
school.
a little bit. Well, how did your coach come to you with that to talk to you guys about letting those guys practice with you?
We're like the big brother to 100. We always help them out whenever they need help, and we're just glad to help them out.
Okay, what's your take on it?
Pretty much the same. We were glad to help them out, and they were very respectful being at our field and everything. They didn't tear anything up. They were really nice.
That's good to hear because it sounds like it's been going both ways. In fact, I remember reading something that not only did you guys allow them to utilize the field, there was an opportunity where you brought food to them and all that during practice, which I think is above and beyond. When guys really that's what you call sportsmanship. You know what I mean? What you do in the lines is what we do in regard to football player. But for the most part, you guys were good hosts to them. But now at the same time, I know you played them the following. With opening game, did you guys play them?
Yeah, our first game.
And you smacked them around just a little bit.
Well, I'm guessing that's why he called them. He said that they were the big brother to the school.
I caught that.
They beat him up on the field like a little brother.
I got that. Good stuff. So tell me, last year, you guys, like you just said, you were in the program 4 years, and I'm going to try to mix this in with WBU. Been in the program for 4 years. I'm sure there were ups and downs. Last year, you went 7-3. What's your goal this year? Do you have a goal in mind?
Make it to the playoffs.
Make it to the playoffs. Okay, and you need to be what? You need to win more than 8 games to be in the playoffs, or how does that work for you all?
Just win more games.
Win more games than you did? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the goal. So what's the biggest opponent coming up for you guys?
Cameron.
Cameron?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the next opponent, right?
Yeah. No, our next opponent is Calhoun. We
That's
play them
that's
on
a
Friday.
trick question. JT setting y'all up. The biggest opponent should always be the next opponent.
There
right?
you go.
That's
There
the most
you go.
important game on the schedule.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. I get that all the time. I try to just because the coaches always teach you as a football player. And you guys know this. What's the what they say the next play you don't worry about.
One play at a time.
One
right?
play at a time. You just take it one play at a time. So I'm assuming, as Pat just said, we take it one game at a time.
Yeah.
Right? And I have to say that was kind of a trick question because, Pat, my first week up here, there was a young lady that asked us, we were in game 2, and she said, and actually it was her father, she says, what do you think about Oklahoma? And, we gave him that old answer, well, we take it one game at a time.
Yeah.
And for the most part, long story short, he's like, I want to know about Oklahoma, And we had a host that could accommodate him and gave him his opinion, so it worked out well.
Yeah.
But, guys, let's get back into it. Okay, what's the strength of your program right now? Would you say offense or defense?
I'd probably say offense.
Okay. Now, what kind of defense do you run? I mean, is it
We run more of like a nickel defense.
okay?
Yeah.
Now, is that because you guys run a lot in your league, or because the nickel defense to me sounds like they would pass more? But I mean, what reason you guys run that nickel, or do you switch up or change
We
up?
switch up and change up a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, offense from an offensive set, and I have to say I'm really interested from the offensive set because I was no quarterback. I think I've shared that with Pat a few times. What do you guys do offensively?
We mainly run the ball.
Now, do you run it from? Now, I'll tell you this. What I've noticed here in West Virginia, well, in this region, they run a lot of wing T. Do you guys do the wing T stuff also?
Yeah.
Do you? Okay. Now, is there an advantage to the wing T opposed to like an eye back, or when Pat would play, you had that running? Well, I don't know if you call it run and shoot. You would spread.
I feel like we were the wing T from Shotgun. We just add a little wrinkle to it. So.
Okay. Speed option was the thing I was thinking of, but more so speed option. But I would have to say, though, you guys made it look really easy. I mean, you could have called it what you want. You could have called it the Pat and Steve show,
Perfecting that small playbook, right?
There you go. Get it. All right, guys, so keep telling me a little bit about your program.
We have a really good program. We have a nice field house and everything. Everything we got is very nice.
Okay,
The
4
coaches-
years. Now, has it always been a good program? And tell me, I mean, have you guys added value to the team? Were there ups and downs along the way?
No, not
No.
really. We got a new field. It's nice. It's turf.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, is this recent with the turf field?
We
Like-
played on the turf field probably
Since our
we
freshman
s-
year.
Yeah, since our freshman year.
I think that might be a thing that's going on around here. Everybody's kind of getting that turf field. Maintenance-wise, it's probably the best thing going, maintenance-wise. But at the same time, ain't nothing like that old grass. And although we play, and the Mountaineers played on turf field, when you play an opponent with grass, is that different for you?
It changes the footing a little bit, especially during cold games, right? Trying to get that grip, understanding when you can cut and how to cut. So it changes the footing and the setting a little bit, but it's a mental game, so you can block that out.
Absolutely. You have to. You almost have to. You get some people that say, the turf makes you faster. You feel like you're faster when you guys play on turf fields.
Yes.
Now I know the difference with turf here now, So when I played, they really called it carpet, to be honest with you. I mean, you could literally play with it with your shoes on.
Yeah.
With your just, sneakers on.
Yeah.
Now they make this turf where you, for the most part, you need a molded bottom, right?
Yeah.
And back then, we said the turf made us run faster or we felt faster. For instance, Mountaineer Field, and I don't know if they had it when you were here, Pat, when they had the
crown.
hump, where the hump in the steel, and it was real carpet like that. You felt like you were going faster because it would have a mound. It had a mound in it, So again, it don't look faster to me because I'm a linebacker. So I try to run from A gap to B gap. That's all I do. So guys, tell me a little bit about your defense. Are they a good defense, or did they keep you in ball games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They keep us both in ball games.
What was the last big game you played where your defense showed up for you?
I'd say probably our last game.
Okay.
We had a lot of good stops.
Okay. We had with a score like 39-20. Somebody had to stop at some point, right?
Yeah, right. Put up some points.
Right, right. Again, so tell me more about special teams. That's one thing. When we start talking about WVU, we're going to get in this area, this gray area of special teams. Tell me a little bit about your special teams, and I'm happy to say that Mountaineers have local guys that are doing a great job with special teams.
We do a pretty good job with our special teams. Here lately, we've been having a little trouble with our kickoff, but other than that, we've been doing pretty good.
Is your kickoff return, or well, you say kickoff, so usually is your kicker pretty solid? Is he the field goal kicker and the kickoff person?
No. Our
Okay.
field goal kicker and our kickoff person are two different people.
Okay, okay. For instance, I'm gonna get after you on this on punt. How you guys doing on punt?
Pretty good.
Well, we need to
We
use
don't really punt a lot.
Uh-huh.
We don't really punt a lot.
Oh, okay.
Scoring a lot of touchdowns is what it sounds like.
I like that. I like that. And if you don't score a touchdown, you're going for it, huh? Well, that's
If
a
it's
good
close.
thing. That's a good thing. That's confidence in your offense. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, in fact, so, you know, we talk about WVU, and again, one of the biggest things that we're going to talk about is WVU in their punt return, you know, or the lack of, you know, they usually have a very tough time with our punt return. But, guys, look, at this show, what we do every week, we ask trivia questions. And to get the trivia question, all you had to do was be listening to what we were saying in the show, right? So I'm going to remind you, to answer the question, all you have to do is raise your hand. We'll bring a mic over to you, and we'll get you a T-shirt. We'll start off with a T-shirt today. Very cool, easy question. What was the score of their game last Friday night? Who we got? Oh, you know they're listening.
39-20.
What was it?
39-20.
39-20. You're absolutely right, sir. Way to be listening. Again, it's just that easy. Just that easy to win. All you have to do is be here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. And if you don't catch us here, make sure you go to the DominionPost.com. Look in the football section. We'll always be there. All right, guys, let's get back after. Okay, so again, you're 3-1. Last year we were 7-3. We know your next opponent is Calhoun.
Yeah.
Calhoun. Now, I've watched Calhoun. They're 0-3 or 0-4 right now.
Yeah.
They've been having a tough ride this season. Where's Calhoun? Is it the southern part of the state, or where is it, middle of the state?
No idea.
Yeah, you know, is this your first year playing them?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about preparation for a team that you haven't played before. Pat, do you recall going against a team and how you guys prepared before a team that you had never played before?
A lot more film study. Even at the high school level, we had a coach that was very big on making sure we were prepared. If we had to cut the playbook down to 5 plays, just to make sure that we were focusing on our keys and beating them in their weaknesses. So finding a key to their weakness and a key to our strength and attacking it and attacking it and attacking it.
Got it. You guys do any film studying? You guys do that in high
Yeah.
school?
Oh, yeah.
On Huddle.
How do you, I mean, is it active practice or is it on your own? What do you guys do now?
Sometimes we have a TV in our field house, and sometimes we'll watch it before practice. We'll all sit down together and watch film. We can also like watch it on our phones and everything. And
Wow.
Technology.
That's the deal, isn't it, right? You know, so if I were to say I was going to watch the game anywhere when I played, you know, I would have had to take this projector home. You know, you know, it was on reels when I played. You know, it was wow. And I noticed that WVU do that too. They have iPads or what have you. The kids can download games and go on watch film. So you kind of in this constant just football. Now, do you guys play any other sports?
No.
No? Ooh, guys, you got to play other sports. Why I say that, you know who says that he recruits guys who play other sports is Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
He says that he looks for guys who play multiple sports. Right? Now, one sport that I did you play any? Yeah, I know you played other sports.
Yeah.
Right? Did
Yeah.
Tell them what you played. Yeah, everybody should probably know.
I was a dual sport athlete. I played both football and baseball. I tried basketball for a little bit, but was on a couple of losing teams and had to walk away from that. But baseball and football, and I did it as long as I could.
Pat, people get the wrong impression. So I played quarterback, and you know what that is. So because I could throw a football hard and far, somebody had the bright idea to bring me on the baseball diamond. Pat, I came on, I was right after football practice. I had on basketball or football shorts, and I went out there, and the guy was trying to show me how to throw the ball by turning your hand back while you on the mound. But when I let the ball go, I can throw it fast, but ain't no telling where the ball gonna go, and my team was pretty good, so my baseball deal didn't work out very well. So I played shortstop in Little League, but it just wasn't the same. In high school, you really had to know how to play.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever played any other sports other than football?
Baseball.
Baseball?
I've played wrestling before.
See, now let me tell you, I was just talking about wrestling the other day. Now, what position you play again?
I played offensive guard,
Okay. Do you play any defensive ball?
defensive end.
That's what I was thinking, because those wrestling guys, you guys are a different breed of guy. I mean, I have to say that. I remember we had this one guy, Ben, I forget Ben's last name, but he played defensive line for us. And he was just the toughest guy, man. I mean, he seemed very lean, but he was really strong. You really couldn't get past him. My coach had the bad idea of allowing the football players to work out with the wrestling guys one day, and that just the look wasn't good, Because what I think we do that wrestling does, you guys, once a football guy get all tangled up, we want to be physical and, try to manhandle a person, then that doesn't work in wrestling, right? You tend to get, I have to be honest with you. Pat, I was trying to wrestle with a dude, and I was like, I was 220 as a quarterback. And Pat, I went to grab him, man, and the guy just had me all balled up. And I said, look, after that, I said, never again. He made me look too bad. So I got a different appreciation for you wrestling guys. But, guys, what do you guys want to talk about? You want to keep talking about football? Running back, how many yards you got this year?
No idea. Last year I
That's
had
a good answer. He says no idea.
132.
That's all right. No. That means you're focused on winning for the team. You're not worried about yourself. That's a great answer.
I have a question for him. I'm sorry. What do you want your legacy to be as seniors? How do you want to lead the underclassmen? And on the other end, how did the past seniors leave the atmosphere for you all? That's a question for both of you.
It's a hard question.
They want us to do good, so they pressed us in practice to get high potential for us, and we're just doing the same thing for the underclassmen, to making sure they're ready whenever we leave.
Yep.
Good.
Now, do you guys have many, and you're going to answer that question too, you guys have many underclassmen?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So what are you planning on leaving in terms of your legacy, or what do you do to kind of help the younger guys prepare for their senior year?
Just practice hard and make sure they're working hard to prepare them for their upcoming year.
That's one thing, Pat. Practice, what he just said, practice hard. People don't realize it's important to really practice hard, to really practice like you're going to play. Talk about that a little bit, Pat. When you were in practice, do you ease off or, so a cornerback, tell me what your practice habits were like.
I will say the times that I did ease off in practice, it showed in my play. And essentially, you play how you practice. So the things you do on the field when nobody's watching is what's going to happen when all the eyes are on you and the camera is watching. So essentially, make sure you're treating every play like a game rep. It's important.
See, for me, I think I was, and I just be honest again, I like to be honest. I called myself, I was a starter, and back in those days, starter knew he was going to start. And I remember this hungry freshman, Anthony Green. Anthony Green was a fullback for WVU. And, when the freshmen come in, you don't suspect that they're going to run hard, So I run up in the hole to kind of, just stud him up a little bit. And the guy tried to run me over, and I'm a senior, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So I learned my lesson. And then, now one time I have to be honest, Amos Zeraway, I was a senior. We were in camp. Amos Zeraway has always been a shifty guy, right? So Amos is practicing with you and there are pro scouts there, you almost got to bribe Amos just to run straight. You know what I mean? Amos could really, run and shift, and then you have to pull him aside and say, hey, man, slow down just a little bit. You ever do that where, a younger player is, moving really fast and you have to say, hey, slow down a little bit?
Sometimes.
I hear you.
He's honest.
Yeah. Now, do you get overzealous linebackers coming after you when you guys are practicing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I trust my linemen. They'll get them.
Okay. If they don't get them, you do what you got to do, right?
Stiff arm them.
I hear you. Good stuff. So listen, guys, I'm gonna roll into WVU a little bit and kind of share with this past weekend. WVU went to Lawrence, Kansas, and they played the Jayhawks in Lawrence, Kansas. And we talked about this last week, rolling into Kansas. Although we had a good showing, we were concerned about playing a team or playing down to a team. But I have to say, Pat, West Virginia really got out there on them and really, never did stop. What do you think about our ability to start off really quick?
It's good to always start quick. Pour it on. What I kind of threw me off was them allowing Kansas to compete halfway through the game. But, I guess they got a little complacent, realized that it was happening, which is good, and made the adjustments and ended up winning a game pretty handedly. But they know later on throughout the year that the teams they're playing, they won't be able to do that, right?
Yeah.
They're going to have to play strong for 4 quarters.
Absolutely. We're in Big 12 football now.
Exactly.
Guys, you guys know something about that, right? When you get into league play, you got to really kind of step it up then. And West Virginia is now, Kansas with their first league game. It's all Big 12 football now. And this week, it almost looked like it was tune-up, right?
Yeah.
You had a guy, Kennedy McCoy, scored a first touchdown. He's a sophomore. And he did it. It looked very easy, but the kids seemed to be prepared for that game. All right, but look, it's time for me to give some away. All right, I'm going to have you guys help me give some away, and let's see if we can come up with something. But to get anything, to win anything, you got to be down here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. If you don't catch us here, make sure you go to Dominion Post and check out the football section. We'll always be there. All right, guys, let's get ready. Let me see if these people have been watching. Can't be anybody for your family. Can't be anybody from your family. All right? Again, this show is about watching, right? What is his name? I'll give you a guess. All right? It's about paying attention. About paying attention. Is he Ben Willard or Travis Dilly? Uh-oh. Oh, yeah.
Travis?
There we go. That's good enough. Travis Dilly. Again, it's about paying attention, folks. We're here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. It really is just that simple. You pay attention, you kind of listen to what we say, and we'll almost give you this stuff. Let's get back into it. Let's talk about Kansas. Guys, when we approached Kansas, we went to Kansas one year, and in fact last week, I had Jordan Thompson here. And Jordan was on the team where they went to Kansas and they lost. When we were expecting to win, they went there and lost. So we talked about the Mountaineers really preparing for this team, and it looks like we did that. Again, what I saw, first quarter we went out, scored kind of like we wanted, but yet it was like we was kind of tuning up a little bit, Pat. I kind of felt like this is a good tune-up before Big 12 play. Everybody did a little something. Will Greer did what he was supposed to do. But, we were off a little bit. Numbers look good, but for the most part, I saw it as a tune-up game. What do you see?
Exactly that, a tune-up game. And I think it's important that we have this bye week to be able to get in the film room and study. And not only have the opportunity to study your opponents, but also study yourself. Right? Study the mistakes that you're making on the field and how you can better yourself and better prepare for the next week. So I think it's good that they do have the bye week this week, and those two things are most important. Studying your opponent and studying yourself, not only from Kansas, but all throughout spring, all throughout camp, and leading up to now.
You know, one thing we had Jordan Thompson last week when we talked about the WBU travel, right? What people don't, what we take for granted is when we have to fly in a Big 12 game, there's an adjustment, right? They're an hour behind us. You know, it is just awkward when you are trying to get out there and play at a different time. And that's one thing that Jordan talked about, the team being able to have to adjust. Now, when you guys travel, do you feel like when you get to where you're going that you have enough time to adjust to the surroundings and to the field?
Yeah, I'd say so. We usually get there like 2 hours early.
Wow, that's
we
really
have a lot of time.
Okay. And I suspect, I think we fly in the day before. Yeah, we fly in the day before, and they probably come that sounds about right for us, 2 hours, 3 hours, and they get adjusted. But you could almost see in the play where we were really just kind of getting our footing. Again, although we went down and scored right away, they scored. They went around and drove on us. They scored first with a field goal, right? Then we come back and score with a touchdown. And then it was really, for the most part, give and take. The difference, and I guess the question that I was kind of concerned with, giving up the big play for us. We were giving up plays which our defense doesn't customarily do. And I'll ask you guys, how, when there's a letdown on your team, how do you respond, or how do your coach get the team back in the game, knowing, you usually don't play the way you're performing when you have a letdown?
He usually just kind of tells us to pick ourselves back up, and we always get another chance.
For some reason, Pat, I just feel like coach doesn't do that. Our defensive coach don't do that with our guys and tell them. I think he says it with a different with some emphasis.
Yeah, I don't think we can repeat what he's telling them after getting run on like that. Can I ask you two guys some questions? Are you Mountaineer fans, first of all?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
What do you think about the Mountaineer season thus far, and what do you think about their chances in the Big 12?
I think they'll make it decently forward. They're a good team so far.
I'd say they'll
What
have
I
a
watched
chance.
of them.
What you watch? Okay. How about you, Ben?
I don't watch very much.
You know,
football.
okay. What do you spend your weekends doing then? What are you doing on Saturday when the Mountaineers are on? Let's
Just
get to know
hanging
you a
out
little
with
bit.
friends and stuff.
Okay, hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
What kind of hanging is going on there?
Just have bonfires and
Okay.
stuff and do all that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We got to get Ben to a WVU game. We
Yeah.
got to get you over there a little bit more. Get you broken in real nice so we can get you watch. And I have to say this, Ben, I don't watch a lot of football. What I watch
Yeah.
is WVU football, and I watch what's going on in the Big 12 because I know our opponent, right?
Yeah.
I want to be able to talk about our opponent. But again, when you're playing a lesser opponent, well, I shouldn't even say lesser opponent. When you're playing an opponent that you feel like you can beat, the worst thing you could do is not prepare for them. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought West Virginia, we prepared for Kansas. But again, we're going, the upcoming game, we're going to be playing, we're going
TCU, right?
Yes, TCU. Yeah, TCU. We're going to TCU. So you're right to say that this break is right on time, right? We had a game where we had to fine tune. We're playing TCU, who's undefeated right now, and we're going down to TCU. So, it is, again, guys, think about that. I mean, I'm sure you guys have been there before. We start off with 3-1 right now, right? It's 3-1 or 4-1?
3-1.
3-1, right? We're getting ready to go into the second big game of the Big 12. Just imagine that feeling for the Mountaineers. What you guys think you guys would feel like going into a game like this?
I'd be a little nervous.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Pat, I don't know if the guys have time to be nervous, but they better get it together, right?
Well, it's just all about interpretation, right? Seeing whether that feeling is you being nervous or you being prepared to play, right? So
Yeah.
it's all about how you interpret it. We're all feeling the same thing, but whatever you interpret that feeling as is what it's going to be.
Now, I get anxious. Again, see, I'm a defensive guy. I'm looking to hit the first thing move. You know what I mean? That's always been my mentality. I used to, and I remember, I keep telling these stories when I be on this show, but I remember we were playing Miami, and I used to like to listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers, Under the Bridge. You guys listen to that?
Yeah.
Right? So I used to listen to that before I play a game, and I used to feel like I was alone, that I could just make this stuff happen. You know what I mean? Do you think that's a cool song? You guys know that song? Maybe I'm aging myself.
I don't know if I know that one, but I have listened to Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay. Okay. So in preparation for me, it's always been about being anxious. And for me, I remember, do you guys do the warm-up drills?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you hit and all that kind of stuff? All right. I would have to, when I would warm up, I used to get stingers a lot, so I would have to hit something real hard and try to get a stinger before the game so it wouldn't pull me out before a game. So when I say I was anxious, that's why I was anxious to get it on so I can get in the mix. But guys, I'm ready to give something away again. Again, all you had to do was listen to what I said, and you should be able to take something home. And look what I got here for you. I got a nice WVU flag. Again, to get this stuff, guys, you got to be here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. And if you don't catch us here, make sure you go to the DominionPost.com and check us out there. Now, all you have to do is raise your hands. Are you ready? I just need to know who was the first person to score a touchdown for the Mountaineers in the game. I'll give you. All right, we got a hand up. Let's see. Because I've said a few names since I've been on here.
David Sills.
No. David Sills was not the first person. I was going to give you multiple choices. What you got?
Is it Kazeel White?
No. It was either Justin Crawford, Kennedy McCoy, I'll say Seals. Out of those three, who were the first one to score?
Is it Crawford?
Was not. That was a trick question, actually. People would expect. He was the second one to score.
McCoy.
Kennedy McCoy was the first one to score. I think I said that too, didn't I? I said it in the, yeah, he was the first one to score. But again, you got to listen up, guys. I put it out there. Guys, again, you have to be here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. We'll be here. All you got to do is come on down. All right, let's get back into this Mountaineer stuff. Guys, Pat, let's talk about Will Greer a little bit. A lot of hype coming behind Will. I talked about it last week where I think he's handling it really well. I mean, the guy, you don't hear a lot of chatter out of him. He goes out there and kind of like you were, right? He kind of just does his job. Yeah. Not as fast as you are, but nonetheless, he's out doing his job. What do you think about Will Greer?
I think he's having fun. I think he's a mature player that's competing and getting the best out of his teammates. I think the guys rally around him. They really like him as the leader. And he has a great offensive line. They're keeping him clean. They're opening holes for the running game. So keeping him off his back and keeping the running game going is definitely helping his game out. And they have great receivers too. So
Pat, they had 288 yards on the ground. They had 347 yards in passing. That's an even offense. That's pretty even.
Yes.
He managed that pretty well.
yes, and Dana has been doing a great job for the past years of balancing his offense. Because as you recall, he came in wanting to be heavy on the pass, but he learned that in order to be successful, you have to have a balanced offense, especially in the Big 12. So he's done a great job adjusting, and he's been successful.
I like it, guys. When you got a football program, and so what Pat's talking about when he came in, they had this idea of the air raid offense, right? It's supposed to be about this pass-heavy offense. And although he has a quarterback right now could actually do both, actually. He can throw the ball down the field, can throw the ball a mile, right? But yet he has 3 different running backs that he's able to choose from that can be productive on the field for us, right? That gives him the ability to be balanced. You guys tell me what you think about having that type of weapon as being offensive players, how productive something like that could be.
You can go pretty far passing and running. Just keep on switching it up. Whoever works, run it.
And that's what I feel like we got. Ben, what we have in our runners, the 3 runners we got McCord, we got Pettaway, we got Crawford, right? Pettaway, to me, is a guy, got a little fastness to him, but I think he's the stronger back. He seems to be stronger to me. Crawford is the one that's a little more shifty, more speedy, and McCoy's kind of right in the middle. He can bang it in there if he has to. That's a great combination for a running back series. For you, Pat, you had Steve, and you had the runaway beer truck.
Yeah.
So you know what it's like to have good, competent backs in that backfield.
And I think that's something that started in the NFL, having a few backs, right, to keep fresh legs in there late in the game. When defenses are getting tired, you got running backs coming in with fresh legs, and they're still running. Right? So it's important. We did have Steve and we did have Owen, but we also had guys like Jason Gwaltney and Noel Devine and Pernell Williams that obviously got discouraged. Noel didn't, but the other guys got discouraged and left. But with them being in the backfield, imagine what the backfield could have done and could have been. So.
Well, you guys did very well without him, though. But listen, guys, again, I just can't say enough in regard to the attitude that Will Greer has. I mean, the guys really come in, you know, especially think about this. When you got a lot of hype behind you, right? You're hearing people talking about Heisman and all that, you know. You know, for a guy who's not grounded, that can potentially weigh down on you, and then you start making mistakes, specifically after coming off a Virginia Tech loss.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big border game, and to lose a game like that, if you're a guy that has all these aspirations, that could easily go bad. But I have to say again, guys, I think that Will Greer's done a great job of coming here, being a great manager for that football team, and the guys are kind of rallying around him. Let's talk about the 5 receivers he got. The guy got 5 receivers that's able to get up and down the field. I mean, Pat, that got to be an asset. That has to be an asset for him.
Yeah, you know, at any point, regardless of who you put the ball in the balls in their hand, they're going to make some plays, right? And if you get it in their area, they're going to catch it for them. They're consistent with their routes, and they're doing a good job blocking downfield because, as you can see, the running backs are picking up a lot of yards, and that's not all from the offensive line. That's from help from receivers downfield and spreading the field. The loss to Virginia Tech, Dana came out and spoke about not having Marcus Sims on the field and him being a deep ball threat. They had a great running game. They had a great intermediate passing game, but they were missing in the VTech game was a deep ball threat. Now that they have that deep ball threat, you can see it's a totally different offense, and it's a totally different way defenses have to play them.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. These guys are adding value to the team. Guys, they got 5 weapons in terms of receivers. Got to be a bonus for the team. Just imagine a high school team with 5 receivers able to go vertical on you. What do you think about that?
That would be a pretty good advantage.
Yeah. Would it be a problem for you defensively?
Probably. Most likely.
You know, for me, and Pat, I don't know if you guys did this. I remember we were playing Pitt 1994, I believe. They went with an empty back set. Did you guys do that with no running backs?
We did.
Empty set. And I have to say that was the first time we saw something like this. You know, I remember now. You can go back and check it on the film. Man, it was one back in the backfield, and they motioned that back empty. And as the middle linebacker, I was just puzzled. You know, I'm like, do I follow him or do I leave? You know? Well, I did call timeout. We got it right, though. I bumped everybody over. You know, I'm like, hey. And they snapped the ball. And they caught the ball on us, but we had to adjust right away, and we knew what to do. And that was the start of a spread look. But it was very challenging for us, you know, from a defense to figure out how do we deal with that. You know, and you just can't go man with it, right? You got a combination of things. And I was able to work it out, and I can only imagine at the high school level, it could really be challenging if you had 5 receivers that, you know, obviously you don't get 5 receivers at one time that's not empty, but to have guys who can rotate and go in and out of the game, I think that would be a bonus for any team, you know. But, guys, let's move on to the subject that I like to talk about, and that's defense. And I have to say, Pat, defense, they scored a couple points on us. You know, we're doing good, but I think to compete in this Big 12, we need more from our football team. I say this, and we know this. The defense has a goal, right? I don't know if offense has the board like this, that we said we get 3 turnovers a game, we stand a better chance on winning. What do you think about defense having 3 turnovers and having a better chance of winning the ball game?
Takeaways are important, right? It gives your offense an extra opportunity to score, and it shortens the field for them as well. I know with the 3-3-5 stack, it's important to have an animal, a house at the nose guard, right? He is the heart and soul of that defense. And if he's not creating havoc up front, opening gaps for linebackers to run through, then you're going to have trouble. And from the looks of it now, we're having trouble up front stopping the run.
Yep, yep, yep. And it's expected now, guys. I said this early on that we, for the most part, got a new defense.
Yeah.
I mean, there are several parts on that defense that's really getting it going. And although we did, again, we kind of just figuring it out. You know, we had 2 interceptions this past game, which was a positive for our team, but we need those takeaways. We had a few fumbles that we were able to recover, but again, we need more takeaways. And this defense, again, what we do on defense is chase the ball, right? They say you offensive guys are a little more intelligent than we are, you know. I mean, you say what you will, you know. But for the most part, we are good at chasing the ball. But you got to be able to do it together, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has to be able to do their assignment, especially in that 3-3-5 defense. My son tells me, my son who's a current Giants player, talks about when he played for the Mountaineers and, you know, when he originally got there, he thought, oh, Dad, I can get this defense very quickly. But the 3-3-5 defense, they say it takes a couple years. I mean, like Ira Shell Bennett right now, he's the middle linebacker. He didn't come on the scene until last year, right? And he's a senior now, which tells me he sat 3 years learning that defense to be able to get out there and perform the way that he does now. Again, guys, what do you guys think about having to learn new defense, the defensive side of the ball? How complicated could it be when you're out there trying to stop a offense?
It can be complicated if you're not lined up in the right spot. Sometimes it's very difficult.
Would you agree to that?
Yeah, you just got to know what you're doing and pay attention, and you'll learn it quick.
You know, I sit and I tell people all the time, my first year, Pat, I didn't know what I was doing, right? When I said I didn't know what I was doing, I was always getting a minus grade because, like you just mentioned, alignment is so important on the defense. What I mean by alignment, for instance, when I was a middle linebacker, I used to talk about shading one side of the ball from the A gap to the B gap. And if you didn't do it right, you're susceptible to getting gashed, right? But over time, I was able to get it done. But, guys, I'm ready to give something away again, all right? You guys ready? I'm going to give away a subscription to the Dominion Post right now. All you have to do is raise your hand. And I believe it's a 1-year subscription. It is a 1-year subscription to the Dominion Post. All you have to do is raise your hand. If you have listened to what I said, you'll certainly be able to get this. Guys, to get it, you got to be here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. Here's the question. Raise your hand now. What is the name of the defense that WVU runs? 3-3-5. You're absolutely right. He was listening, and Pat set that one up very nicely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, again, all you have to do is be here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. If you don't catch us here, you can always go catch us at thedominionpost.com. All right, guys, we got to talk about the special group. You know, I always talk about what Coach Nealon taught me, and I'll say it every show. Special teams are for special guys, right? We try to find talented guys to be able to do very well on that special team. Now, I have to say this. You spoke about a guy, Sims. I saw him with some kickoff returns. He did a kickoff return. Then he got some positive. Marcus Sims. He got some positive. Got some sparks in him. I thought he looked pretty good. What do you think, Pat?
To be honest, I haven't really paid attention to much special teams. I know
You
that
ain't missed nothing.
I've heard we've been having issues with punt, but I mean, there's no excuse right now. Right, he's the head coach. He's in charge. What else are you doing up there, specialist?
Right.
You go into the indoor facility and you kick, but I know you can't kick all day. I think they'll come around. I think he'll have some wrinkles up his sleeves for late, and we'll see some big plays out of special teams if he has to keep them extra hour after practice.
You know what I learned last year? We had Coach Dunlap on here, who's my coach in college, and he also has been through a few staffs. And Dunlap talked about that he consciously don't put a lot of effort in the return game. They had so much trouble with fumbles a couple years before they start fielding the kicks that he would rather possess the ball opposed to having the guy fumble the ball. So they don't actually set up. They go up the punt block. You know what I mean? They don't do a whole lot. They either go to the punt block or they kind of just settle. They never really do a return. Because I said to Coach, Coach, why don't they do a punt return? Do you guys do punt returns?
Yeah.
You set the wall. Do they still set the wall?
We still set the wall.
Set the wall. So, guys, when I say set the wall, what I mean by that, when the punter punts the ball, the defense, they hold the first guys up. Then you have guys who usually peel back and set a wall for the returner to try to return the ball either right or left or middle return. Those are the three returns you have, right? Now, WVU currently doesn't have that in place. They don't, well, I shouldn't say they don't have it in place. They don't utilize that as much. Again, as I mentioned, Coach Dunlap mentioned that they're more interested in possession of the ball. And I guess we have to live with that, you know.
Shows confidence in your offense.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is, right? Dana's saying I can put up 30 or more points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need big returns. I don't need those special teams points. We're going to get it done offensively.
Right. Well, when you got a coach who says he don't talk to kickers, you know.
He has to now.
Listen, I forget the kid that he ended up leaving, but he was a great field goal kicker for us. And he ended up leaving. I remember, I never forget it. We had beat Maryland with a kick. And, Coach talked about how he was loving on him then. You know, he said, but I really don't talk to kickers, you know. And that's just his thing, you know. But kickers don't mind. You know, I play with guys, you know, Pat McAfee. He's a punter. And there's a few guys, well, more punters than anything else. They're pretty independent guys. Would you say that?
Yeah. Pat McAfee was a unique case, and he is probably one of the most famous kickers in all of sports, even though he just recently retired. He was an athlete, and you usually don't think of specialists, kickers, and honestly, they got a football scholarship, but he could have been a linebacker or a tight end or something along those lines. He was pretty talented.
I had a guy by the name of Todd Serburn, and Todd also played for the Colts. And he was, Todd used to boom him out of there. In fact, Todd actually had, I believe, the longest kick in Giant Stadium when we played in Nebraska. I think he kicked like 70, 80 yards. Obviously, it rolled, but it was the longest kick at that time. What do you guys feel about punt return and all that stuff? Let's talk about the attitude of a special teams player.
We just got to catch it and run with it.
What do you think? So, for instance, we've been on this show and we talked about the personnel. Do you have your starters on special team, or do you put guys on there who don't see the field very often?
Most of our starters.
Exactly. You got it. That's why, and that was Coach Nealon's deal, right? When I played here, he'd always say, special teams are for special guys. And that was his deal, right? He coaches special teams. And that guy almost made you want to build that special team because he made you feel, you know, you're one of his special guys. You know, I know that's that coaching psychology thing going on.
It's all about effort on special teams.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But, and Pat, you know this, playing in the NFL, for those guys who really have a legitimate chance that once you get drafted of making a team, you got to do what? Play special teams.
Well, when I went to Canada, I went up north. Canada's a 3-down system. So I actually had to play some special teams.
Did you really?
So I did a little punt protecting because in Canada they run a lot of fake punts, right? So they thought, here's a guy who's a little more athletic than most quarterbacks. Let's put him on punt protection. We can run fakes if we need to, third and short. And I actually picked up a couple first downs on punt and actually made a couple tackles. So I ended my career before I got another concussion with a couple tackles on special teams. So I got to experience that as well.
That's a bit of history right there. We got to hear first that Pat White played a little special teams. I'm sure that I bet you nobody else has that, right? That's all right. You know, so my son, I have to say, my son made it in the league through special teams, you know.
Yeah.
That kept him around. Guys don't put up. I hate that some guys don't put a lot of effort into it, you know, when you really have to, because you guys know, especially in high school, all it takes is one kickback, right? One kick return or one punt that could change the whole game. Have you guys ever been in a situation where a kick changed the pace of the game?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember what game it was?
There's been a couple.
A couple?
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, I always liked setting the wall. I was the guy on defense that played linebacker. I got a chance to really do the crackback deals. You know, the first group, rushes the punter. I roll with my group, and we set the wall coming back, and you look for that. Who do you look for streaking down that field? That one guy.
The snapper.
Right?
The long snapper.
You wait for that long snapper. He's peeling up, and he takes off first. So you kind of loop around, and he usually has a good shot at the runner. And, boy, you just come out of nowhere and smash him. I love doing that. I just love being physical. But at the same time, you really couldn't do that kind of stuff when you had a guy like Tavon Austin.
Yeah.
That's what we missed. We missed a Tavon Austin. I mean, he was a guy just was deadly with the ball.
Yeah.
If you kicked it to him or if you punted with him,
Yeah.
you know. And, you know, I think Mountaineers got really comfortable with that, and we just haven't seen it in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
You know.
He was a special player. Still is.
Yeah,
Still
absolutely
is.
was. Absolutely was.
But I have a couple questions for these gentlemen. We're going off the field a little bit. To let the listeners and watchers get to know you a little bit more. What are your plans for after school? I know you're both seniors. You'll be graduating soon. What do you have planned for your future? And what do you enjoy most academically?
Being a lineman.
What's that?
Being a lineman for Mon Power.
Being
a lineman.
for Mount Power? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We're both in the electrical program at MTech right now.
Oh, that's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me what you do as a lineman. You hang electrical lines?
You work on power lines.
Wow.
Got to be brave to go up that high, huh?
Yeah.
Get up on those poles, hang those lines.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
Ugh, I don't know if I could do that yet.
You don't know you're
I'm a Florida
brave
boy,
enough
man.
to be a football player, not to be a lineman, huh?
Wow. Them heights, man, would probably give me some problems. I know for sure it would give me some problems. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the program you're in right now. You said you're both electrical. What would you call yourselves?
The electrical program.
Electrical
at MTech.
program. Tell us a little bit about it.
We mostly do residential wiring,
Okay.
like wiring up outlets and lights for housing and stuff.
Huh. So you'll be building your own homes or wiring your own homes in a few years, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hey, you guys didn't let me know this, though. I got some inside information. You guys are cousins. Got it. Oh, okay. Now, did you guys get a chance? Did you guys play against each other at all? Or have you always played together?
We've
Basically
always played
together.
together.
Did you? That's cool,
He
man.
wouldn't want to go up against me.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. I'd take you on any day.
Sound like his cousins more like brothers, huh?
There we go. There we go.
That's good.
all
Close
right.
relationship.
That's all right. Hey, you guys keep each other sharp. Keep after it. Keep after it. Guys, we're going to give the audience a chance to ask us a few questions. We got a couple minutes. All you have to do is raise your hands, and we'll answer your question to the best of our ability. And we'll do this. The first question, we'll give you something. The first question, raise your hand, and we will answer the question to the best of your ability. Got a question? All right. Go ahead and ask the question, because I'll tell you what happened. When we cut those lights off, everybody's going to go up to Pat and ask him 100 questions.
I have two questions. Is Clay-Battelle a AAA school? Single
It's
A.
a single A.
Okay. All right. I went to Morgantown High. That's why I'm asking. Anyway, really enjoyed the show tonight. I want to make a comment about the Mountaineers. I think that Greer's doing a great job. He's got a big arm. I'm really concerned about the defense. I don't know if we can hang in the Big 12. Really concerned.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
That's a great question. Great question. All about. I'm gonna let Pat start off because I'm gonna certainly give him my.
As long as we score more points than our opponents, I think we'll be okay. Right? That's the easy answer. I think Tony will rally the guys. I think he'll find a way to put the right pieces in play and get guys to understand positioning and where they're supposed to be on the field. Because more than anything, it's probably guys being out of position, guys not fully understanding the ins and outs of the defense, as JT said.
So I agree. So, and I have the same sort of concern, but I know with times, the more times somebody sees something, they stand a better chance of getting it right. I like the leadership of Al Rashid Bitten, and I like the two free safety and the strong safety we have. Those guys played a lot of football. I think whoever wins that locker room in terms of being a leader in that locker room needs to help turn that defense around. I mean, you had guys like Rasheed Douglas last year who had an interception this past weekend, anchored one side of the field. We got to find that guy who can do that for us. And I think they're starting to get it. They're starting to get it. So, I share the same concerns, but the fact that we got a few more games, and they probably got 1 or 2 more games before they have to be very good, right? You know, if these 2 games, TCU and Texas Tech, you know, they can be okay, but by then they got to be very good. Absolutely, absolutely. You guys want to answer that or comment on that? All righty. Any more questions? How many more minutes we got? We got another one.
Yeah, so I wanted to say, last season we did a pretty good job, finished 10-2. 2 losses were against 2 reasonable teams, 2 reasonable losses because those were teams that essentially were better than us. And then we go to the bowl game and blow it. This year, 3-1. Our offense looks hot, but our defense looks questionable. Do you think that Dana Holgerson's season is Dana Holgerson? He's been here for 7 years now. Do you think that this season he's on the line? Does he need to win a bowl game this year?
That's
if we don't do good, is Holgerson out or is he in?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Now, you know, I think he's not going together. He has 5 years. He got a renewed contract. I think we're going to keep him as long as he wants to be here because that buyout is probably pretty healthy. Yeah. You know? So I think he's going to be here. I think he will I think he doesn't have to worry about winning a bowl game. I think the players want to win a bowl game. I think these guys help guys win bowl games in the past. He wants to win one for himself. What do you guys think about that? Got 1 more minute. Probably time for 1 more question. 1 more question. There we go.
And I'm going to piggyback on what you said. I don't think he's on the hot seat at all. They owe him too much money. He won 10 games last year, and that's a good season, even though he didn't finish with a bowl win. I mean, right. 10 wins is big. That's not easy to do in college football, period. So unless he loses every game the rest of the season, he's not going anywhere.
This one's for Travis and Ben.
Good question.
What's your favorite thing about playing Clay-Battelle football?
Good question.
Having fun, playing with your friends, and enjoying your senior year.
Yeah.
Ben, you got to give an answer, cuz.
I'd say about the same.
He enjoys the Friday night bonfires.
All right, guys, listen, we want to thank you all for coming out tonight. And again, guys, I want to remind you, we're here every Sunday at 6 p.m. at the Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. If you don't catch us then, make sure you go check us out at thedominionpost.com. Look in the football section. We'll always be there. And until next time, huddle up.